The much-awaited judgment in the Ahmed Timol inquest is set to be delivered today. Timol's family has been battling to overturn the findings of the initial inquest into the death of anti-apartheid activist Ahmed Timol. The family representative told the court that the evidence produced shows that Timol's death was not suicide but brutal murder. Timol died in October 1971 whilst in police custody. The initial ruling in 1972 stated that Timol committed suicide by jumping out of a 10th floor window of John Foster Square police station. State advocate has backed the call, stating that the previous inquest had numerous inconsistencies. Here are some of the facts that came to light during the reopened inquest. Medical evidence suggests Timol had been tortured before his fall. Timol would not have been able to jump out of the window by himself. Police, instead of calling an ambulance to help the critically injured Timol, carried him back into the building on a blanket. Apartheid-era SACP members deny they had instructions to commit suicide rather than to reveal information, an argument put forth by the cops in support of their suicide story. ANN7 reporter Valerie Robinson joins us live now from the newsroom. Good morning to you, Valerie. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you have been following this Ahmed Timol inquest since it was reopened. Just walk us through some of the testimonies that you witnessed and what's been happening so far.
Good morning to you and to the viewers at home. Yes, this has been a long time coming for the Timol family, who have been fighting for this inquest to take place for many, many years, spearheaded by his nephew, Imtiaz Kaji. Now, we know that Timol's mother also did testify at the TRC, begging for ex-security police officers to come forward and just tell her what happened to her son. And none of that took place. They kept on fighting for this inquest to be able to take place, and finally it has. Unfortunately, she is not alive today to see this take place and this judgment to be passed down. But there's quite a few things to be noted from the testimony that took place over the multiple weeks leading up to this judgment today. Now, remember, there was João Rodrigues who claimed to be in the room with Ahmed Timol and saw him jump out of the window. But now there was two major issues of contention. One is medical facts, and the other was also time. There's a lot of medical facts that said that Timol was very severely injured and tortured before and could not have been able to jump out of the window. This includes a depressed skull fracture. One of the forensic experts that testified to this is Dr. Steve Naidu. Now, he also testified on the time factor. There were witnesses from across the road working at a petrol station at that time, as well as witnesses passing the road and people inside the building that claimed that they saw Timol fall in the early morning, well, mid-morning around 10 o'clock. And the police have claimed that it was late afternoon. So time was also of contention. Now, in the death report that was filed by the doctor at the time, there was the use of "pas do it" or "just dead." Now, Dr. Steve Naidu also testified that a doctor wouldn't have been able to exactly pinpoint the time of death within a few hours. So whether or not that he intended it to say "just dead" a few minutes ago or a few hours, it is not clear. So again, the time issue is coming in. The torture as well, because remember, in the first inquest, they claimed that Ahmed Timol was in good condition when he fell from the 10th story, and he was well looked after and not injured. And remember that the person that was arrested with him, Mr. Salim Esop, also testified, and he was hospitalized a day or two after Ahmed Timol's death for being tortured so severely. And in their own words, he was the small fish in this arrest. And Ahmed Timol would have sustained much heavier torture than him in that situation. So there are many issues of contention. But today we're expecting Judge Billy Motley to deliver his judgment in the inquest. And we know that the family, the legal team of the family, have asked for Rodrigues to be prosecuted. In the beginning, they said they do not want that. They just want the truth. But he stuck to his story. He stuck to the version of events that they gave in the first inquest in 1972. and because of that, the family have asked for prosecution.
Well, thank you so much, Valerie. We'll stay in touch with you throughout the course of this morning as the court proceedings do continue. Our reporter there, Valerie Robinson, who will be joining us from the courts later on this morning, where the judgment or in the inquiry into Ahmed Timol's death will be handed down.